Hi and welcome, this is Cujo Sound and Bjorn Jacobson speaking. This video is another follow-up on Learn to Listen with Cujo Sound, where we will go over some of the basics on how to listen, what to listen for, and how you can use it. Enjoy! Hi, this is Bjorn Jacobson of Cujo Sound. Today we're going to continue with the film school exercises that I've done out of the film school when I've been teaching there for the past couple of days. One of the exercises that I also did, apart from the spectral listening, was to soundscape listening and soundscape creation. This is originally a task or exercise that I've been using when I teach at schools where we're discussing what is music, simply to try to describe that everything that is written down and can be used in a performance afterwards is actually music, meaning that you can actually record arbitrary sound, play them back, or write them down on a paper sheet and then discuss, is this music? I quite often use that specifically also as an exercise drill to learn what are we actually listening to and what are the sounds that are around us on a daily basis. What are we hearing? What is actually this soundscape built of? What is the ambient sound that we are in right now built of? Not because we want to exactly build this soundscape, but what if we go outside and we want to listen to an environment because we want to create that environment again in our video game or in our film piece or movie or whatever? Then it's really important to know what kind of sound goes into an ambient soundscape. For example, in this apartment right now, I can hear my fridge, I can hear some cars out in the street. Sometimes I can hear my upstairs neighbor doing things, and sometimes I can hear people rumbling around in the basement in this apartment. All those sounds are really, really important to make this apartment come to life if I was to recreate the soundscape of this apartment. So the original music drill was to go somewhere completely random with a piece of paper and a timer. Write down specifically what would happen and where stuff would happen on a 5-minute timeline. You could do this as one person or more people. And you can sit down and then afterwards combine your various timelines and make sure that you then in the end have one fully written sheet of actual performance. By doing so, you have now written down and recorded what the soundscape of your current location was, and you could actually perform it to other people. Nobody says that you need to perform it with the actual sounds that you actually heard, but you can always discuss what was it that you actually heard, or where was the location of your actual position when you were recording this. You're not recording this with a recorder, you're recording this with a piece of paper so that you afterwards can go inside your computer or whatever material you want to work with and recreate this soundscape. It's really, really important to be able to listen to what is around you and how things work and how sounds have a point in the soundscape that they are in, and how your current soundscape would be completely useless if not all these sounds were put together. So let's go outside with our notebook and try to write down a couple of soundscapes and then go back and talk about them. Okay, so we are now outside. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of paper with 5 lines, each representing 1 minute. I'm going to stand wherever I want to stand, and I'm going to be there for 5 minutes and point out where all the sounds are coming from. What I typically do is that I make my timeline here is very rough because I just drew these myself, but this here is 1 minute, this here is 2 minutes, this is from 2, and this is to 3 minutes. I'm just going to write down. Normally you can just say after 1 minute and 10 seconds, it doesn't have to be very precise, but you can write down the time if you want to, from 1 to 2 minutes, that here we have, let's say, a car driving by. Forgive me for my handwriting. It's been a problem all my life, and especially when I was writing love letters in school when girls couldn't read, that I wanted to date them. It was a massive hardcore impact on my life. Anyway, car driving by, that could be one way of doing it. You could also just make symbols if you wanted to, or you can even stand in one direction and then write that this is coming from the soundscape and it's moving in this direction to go over here. Something like that. A way to describe, as long as you're consistent and that you can read this afterwards, then it's really, really important. Now, let's go find a location and talk a little bit about what we're hearing, and we can explain how it works. So on this phone here, it's going to be a little difficult to actually hear the direction of sounds because there's only a mono microphone. But we can explain our way out of that and listen to it. So right now I'm standing outside my apartment building. I'm just going to be walking around, or at least stand still in this location and listen to what's going on. So let's start here. This is probably a good time to start. So that's one car passing us, and a bicycle. After approximately 10 seconds, there's a car on my left, can't start, and now it's passing me in front of me. If you listen closely, there's a beep in the far distance of a truck that's backing up. There are some people from my back left fixing some trash cans. It sounds like they're moving them. And now there's a deep rumble of that truck backing up, with the beeping sound of its warning signal when it's backing as well. There's a guy at around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. He's walking with a bag, and his pants are kind of squeaky. In the far distance, I can hear kids, like from a schoolyard, playing, probably to my left, far away to my left. Up here, right above me, there are some trees and some leaves, and kind of hear the wind in the tree. That's one soundscape. This was probably just a minute or two. We've been recording what's going on. If we find a place that's a little more busy, we can maybe find something that we can talk a little bit more about. I'm going to walk up to the end of the street, and we're going to see if we can find some place more busy. Right, so here we are. It's just about 100 meters away. We're in a slightly more busy street. We're going to try and be recording all this and see what kind of ambient sound do we get when we're just recording here. So I'm going to turn the camera around like before, and let's see what's going on. So as you can hear, this street is quite busy. There's all these cars driving by. And welcome to Copenhagen, by the way. So cars passing by, but there's a bus coming now, passing. And a car with lots of bassy music. Young kids these days. Another bus. So all these cars are passing and they're basically dominating the soundscape. We should go back closer to the schoolyard that we were at before and try and see if we can pick up more subtle changes whenever there is a sound. Okay, I've moved closer to the school, so now that I know that the schoolyard is to my left. The important part here is to notice that if you want to recreate a soundscape like this, let's say you are required to make a soundscape of a schoolyard, but there is no schoolyard in your vicinity, so you can't go and record one. There's no problem in taking a schoolyard sound from a library and using it, but you can use it as material that you put together with other things to create a soundscape. You shouldn't use library material just straight out of the box and put it into something. That's too cheap and too easily recognizable. No, if you manipulate this school, if you find the sound of a schoolyard and you put it together, you make it sound like it's coming from your left or in the background, in the distance, and pan it out, and you pan out these other sounds of the cars and other things, you can recreate a very, very trustworthy soundscape on your own. Now let's get to it and record this place and talk a little bit about it. Because I'm facing down the street here, and what is going on is that to my right, all the cars are driving by the eventual car that there is. And it's passing from my back to my front. Coming from behind me, passing me, going behind me. And to my left is a schoolyard. You can hear the kids in the background here. There's a bike to our right, passing us. The important part to notice here is actually to write down how the school backyard sound is changing. So sometimes it's just general walla, and then once in a while there's a very loud kid yelling something specific. It doesn't matter what he's yelling, it's just important to notice that the volume and the transients, the amplitude of this schoolyard is fluctuating. It's not some steady volume sound, just background noise. No, it's actually moving. It's a living thing that you need to consider. There's a truck in the foreground coming closer to us. In the schoolyard, they seem to be playing with something that they are throwing. They're dropping some heavy items on the ground, kind of like something wooden once in a while. And there's a slight wind breeze coming right now, which affects some leaves on the ground to move past me. There's an open window right over here next to the bikes, where there's apparently a class going on, so we can hear noises coming from the window. There's a teacher, a female teacher, speaking to class, and the kids are sometimes answering her questions. There's also a window up here that's open. Sometimes there are kids talking out of that school window too. This is a school, by the way. And that's it for our recordings. Let's go back to the studio and record some sounds. By record, I mean we write down our timeline and we make sure that we take that timeline, find all the sounds that we need, put them back together in order, and export it so that we have created an ambient soundscape that we need. Which isn't the same as just finding one in the library that suits our needs. By the way, there's a nice plane up here right now that you can probably hear. That could be written down in our timeline as well. It's really important that we put it in the correct order because we don't want to make the time. We want to make the soundscape of this specific location as realistic as possible when we recreate it. Let's go back to the studio and check it out. And that's it for Learn to Listen with Cujo Sound for today. This is the composition of ambience. It's all about writing down a timeline and making sure that you preserve the timeline of what you've been hearing. Of course, you can edit it afterwards and decide what goes in and what doesn't go out. Of course, you can edit it afterwards and decide what goes in, what goes out, what stays, what goes, and what is emphasized and what is dimmed down. That's all up to your creative freedom. But if you preserve the audio ecology of the timeline, you will have a much better understanding about the world around you, what you just recorded, and you can recreate this soundscape to suit your needs. Like if the plane we just heard was too loud, we just don't add it. If it destroys the soundscape, we just don't add it. But we can still keep the leaves, the wind, and other things. The most important part is that we track down what happened when so that we can create this again by ourselves in our studio. Perhaps even by recording stuff ourselves of kids talking, me talking, you talking, whatever we want to do. I'll see you again in the next video where we're going to go over some of these recordings and write them down, write them clean, write a sheet, and recreate a soundscape in our DAW. In my case, it's Cubase, and let's see how that goes. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe button if you enjoyed it, or go over to patreon.com/Cujo Sound if you want to support this channel and the time I take off to create videos like these. And hopefully you learned something from watching this video. I certainly did making it. This is Bjorn Jacobson and Cujo Sound, signing out.